Please open your Sutra book now and turn to the correct page so you can follow along. Yesterday, we talked about how the world honored one, who is also known as the Buddha, told a story to the Bodhisattva king of unshakable freedom. This story is from the section on observing phenomena, which is an important part of the teachings we are studying. As we continue, next, the Buddha will be speaking to all of us about the merit of making offerings through hearing the Dharma. This is about the power of karma. It is explained that, throughout the past 9 kalpas, Kitigarbha Bodhisattva has shown such profound and boundless compassion, making heartfelt vows again and again over countless lifetimes to help and rescue all suffering beings, demonstrating unwavering dedication to alleviating their pain and hardship. It is said that in future generations, if there are good men and good women, or just men and women, for men and women, there's no good or added in front, just ordinary people, everyday people. Those who don't do good, who do evil, these men and women who neither do good nor avoid evil, who don't believe in cause and effect, who engage in sexual misconduct, tell lies, speak harshly, or slander great ministers. All these sentient beings who create such karma must be saved and liberated. Millimeter, this is a very definite teaching. Among all these bad deeds, these 4 are considered the gravest offenses. If someone doesn't truly believe in the principle of cause and effect, they'll just do whatever bad things they like, whenever they want. Not believing in retribution or consequences, they act however they please in this world, throwing their weight around and refusing to forgive others. They have no idea that the consequences to come are beyond imagination. Sexual misconduct, false speech, and malicious talk. Sexual misconduct. Buddha spoke about this a lot in the sutras, and it's also mentioned among these 4 precepts. Because, out of all evils, this is the root. Almost every kind of wrongdoing stems from here. So, let's have a look. Why is there so much chaos in today's society? When we look at these 4 causes the Buddha talked about, it all becomes clear. How many people these days actually believe in cause, condition, and effect? How many people actually know that sexual misconduct, false speech, and malicious talk are the root causes of all the chaos and disasters in society? Who really knows this? Regarding Mahayana Buddhism, Mahayana Buddhism or Mahayana, Theravada, or Buddhist teachings, people don't understand. Calling it superstition is bad. By labeling it as mere superstition, it unfortunately causes so many people to lose the valuable chance to even hear the Dharma. Indeed, it's been said, Hu Quan, even more so, there are so many people committing these evil deeds. Before the retribution comes, the flower retribution appears first. The raw flower retribution refers to the current chaos in our society, the frequent disasters, both natural and man-made. It's just unbearable suffering. For committing such grave sins, the Buddha said here, they will fall into many evil realms, and these evil realms refer to hell. The extremely painful Avicii hell, the hell of unending suffering. Next, it explains that if you ever encounter a truly good and genuinely wise teacher, now, wise here doesn't just mean having emotional understanding, but also rational understanding, someone who truly possesses deep wisdom, they genuinely and thoroughly comprehend all the fundamental principles and natural laws of everything in the universe, both seen and unseen, known and unknown. And they have a clear understanding of phenomena and their functions. This is what's called a good and wise teacher. If such a teacher guides you, and after listening, you understand and become awakened, then it's certain that in just the snap of a finger is used here to describe how short the time is. You take refuge in Kitigarbha Bodhisattva. The words that take refuge are extremely important. It's not just a matter of going through the motions or following a routine. Simply performing a refuge ceremony without genuine intention or heartfelt commitment is truly useless. If you just go through the motions, acting without any real sincerity or genuine feeling, what's the point? Why is it that you have the formality but lack sincerity? Why can't your heart truly commit? It's because you haven't fully understood the principles and reasoning behind it. This comes down to having a good spiritual teacher, not just knowledge, but a virtuous teacher. Someone who can clearly explain the fundamental principles of taking refuge, including what it truly means and why it is important, the specific details and considerations involved in the process, and the genuine merit and transformative power that can arise from making this meaningful commitment. So, to return and rely. Return means to turn back. Rely means to depend on. What exactly are we relying on? We rely on Kitigarbha Bodhisattva. So, what does Earth, Di, refer to? It's the nature of the mind. It's about the nature of our own mind. And what does treasure Zhang mean? It refers to the boundless wisdom, merit, and virtuous qualities within our own true nature. That's what Kitigarbha represents. If you see the statue or image of Kitigarbha Bodhisattva and think you take refuge in it, a Bodhisattva crossing the river can't even save themselves. The image is just a symbol, something for you to see and be inspired by, to realize that the real treasure is in your own mind. We need to rely on this, on faith and virtue. Only then have you truly taken refuge. So, this treasure of the mind, the complete and perfect virtues within our own mind, where exactly is it? We don't know. This sutra of the original vows of Kitigarbha Bodhisattva is the Buddha revealing the treasure of our own true nature to us. Now, with this, we truly have something to rely on. Taking refuge in Kitigarbha Bodhisattva means practicing according to the fundamental vows, teachings, and methods found in the Kitigarbha Sutra. That's what it means to take refuge. In the past, if our ideas, attitudes, or actions were at odds with what's taught in this sutra, meaning if our thoughts, feelings, or behaviors conflicted with the principles and guidance found within these sacred teachings, we should quickly turn back, reflect on our mistakes, and make a sincere effort to correct ourselves according to the teachings of the scripture. This process of self-correction and realignment is exactly what it means to truly rely on the sutra and let its wisdom guide our lives. Turning back from mistakes is a returning, and correcting each one according to the scriptures is a relying. Taking refuge is true practice. If you can practice like this, the Buddha said, all sentient beings will be freed from the retribution of the three evil paths. Why is that? These beings have committed countless and boundless misdeeds in the past, so why is it that now they can avoid the suffering and retribution of the three evil paths? Does this go against the law of cause and effect? Why is it that someone who's done wrong doesn't get bad karma? It avoids cause and effect. Why is it that they don't? Why don't they receive bad karma? Their negative conditions have been cut off today. Don't just think that a cause will definitely lead to a result. There's a condition in between. Without the right condition, even if the cause is there, the result can't come about. For example, take a melon seed. A melon seed is a seed, and in the future it can grow into a melon. But it needs the right conditions. It needs soil, fertilizer, sunlight, and water. When all these conditions are met, the seed will sprout. It will grow, and eventually it will flower and bear fruit. If you cut off all the conditions for this seed and just leave it in a teacup for half a year, it still won't bear fruit. This is just like when you've committed these past misdeeds. If you've created the karma for the Avachi hell, you're supposed to go to Avachi hell to face the consequences. But today, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas teach you to cut off these negative conditions. Even though you have this karmic cause, you can now avoid receiving the retribution. This makes a lot of sense. It's about cutting off the conditions. From today onwards, have deep faith in cause and effect. Don't indulge in lust, tell lies, gossip, deceive, use harsh words, and praise virtuous ministers. See, the conditions have immediately turned around, haven't they? Is that past wrongdoing? The seed is in a layer consciousness, in a teacup. The seed won't disappear. You need to know this. Good and bad seeds will never be destroyed. When it encounters the right conditions, it will manifest. If it doesn't, it will stay hidden in the Alaya consciousness forever. The Alaya consciousness is like a warehouse, storing everything inside. So if it can never be destroyed, what happens when you become a Buddha? Once you become a Buddha, that's when it's useful. If you have the seed of Avachi hell, you can go to Avachi hell in the future to plant that seed. If your Alaya consciousness lacks the Avachi hell seed, you won't see hell. So, all the karmic causes of good and evil you've created in past lives, once you become a Buddha, they all come into play, allowing you to save all sentient beings, good and evil, across the 9 realms. At that point, you're clear-minded and no longer confused, so what does it mean to save those in hell? It's about saving sentient beings. To be honest, in hell, there's actually no suffering, it's just appearance. So if you don't have any connection with hungry ghosts, how could you possibly save them? If you don't have any connection with animals, you can't save animals either. We see Buddhas and Bodhisattvas manifesting in the 3 evil realms. In the past, when on the path, they created karma for the 3 evil realms. Now that karma is used not for retribution, but to save sentient beings. So, we shouldn't regret the wrongdoings we've committed in the past, because once we become Buddhas, they can actually serve a great purpose. If you don't become a Buddha and keep creating bad karma now, you'll end up suffering in the 3 lower realms. So, after awakening, there's the power of that realization. You'll go to those 3 lower realms to help the suffering beings there. This is something we really need to understand. Now, let's have a look at the next section. I can return or take refuge. Our respect here means to show reverence. The key word in this passage is wholeheartedly. The most sincere heart is a sincere heart, without even a trace of falsehood. With a sincere heart, we follow the teachings and put them into practice. We must firmly remember what Buddhism has given us, practice it, uphold it, recite it, and preach it to others every day. This is what it means to take refuge with all our heart. This is what it means to follow the teachings and put them into practice. So, what does the accept mean? It means we accept the principles the Buddha explains in the sutras without any doubt. We accept the methods for practice that the Buddha teaches us and follow them completely. And as for the states described in the sutras, we align ourselves with them. Aligning here means being in proper accord. This is what it truly means to wholeheartedly take refuge and show respect. Now then, a few examples are given. These are just a few cases to show that the scope of practice in our daily lives is actually indeed very broad and very deep. In fact, so let me give a few examples. The first, praise. This is all for the purpose of speaking for people. Making offerings to images of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas every single day. We should make offerings in accordance with the Dharma. Paying respects. Reciting their names is also a form of praise. Reading the Sutra of the original vows of Kittagarbha Bodhisattva is to praise Kittagarbha Bodhisattva. Reciting the name of Kittagarbha Bodhisattva is also to praise him. Take our current Jushiling Amitabha Hall, the Amitabha Hall on the 4th floor, for example. Every day, before you recite the Buddha's name or give a Dharma talk, you all recite the Buddha's name. Reciting the Buddha's name is a form of praise and veneration. Who is this for? It's for all sentient beings to see. Among all sentient beings, humans are actually the minority. If I, as a human, come to the 4th floor of Jushiling and see you all, I feel a sense of joy. Coming here also means planting wholesome roots within. Planting the seeds of Buddhahood. Even a single root can become an eternal seed of the way, and that's exactly what you're doing. What's even more remarkable is the presence of heavenly beings, dragons, and spirits. We need to understand that in this Dharma hall, there are so many Dharma protecting deities, heavenly beings, and spirits gathered here. When you recite the Buddha's name and give Dharma talks, there are countless heavenly beings, dragons, and spirits all around, even though we can't see them with our human eyes. It's not just all around you, but above and below as well. In the sky and underground, there are Dharma protecting deities everywhere. Good luck. If your mind is very pure, you'll indeed be able to feel it. You'll feel that they are all present, and the number of them is simply unimaginable. Why do these Dharma protectors come here? Because they made vows at the start. As long as it's a place of true Dharma, they're bound to come and protect it. If they don't protect it, they'd be going against their own nature. How could they face the Buddhas and Tathagatas? It's the vow they made in front of the Buddha. We are devoted to spreading the true Dharma. Within the true Dharma, there isn't the slightest trace of selfishness or self-interest. If a hint of such a thought is mixed in, the Dharma protectors may choose not to come. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas can't blame them. "I not protect the Dharma, that was selfish." So they are allowed not to come. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas can't blame them, can they? If all practitioners and the teacher have no selfishness but the Dharma protectors still don't come, then it's their fault. We need to deeply and genuinely understand these principles, so we must be sincere and wholeheartedly perform all the rituals properly and with great care. Make prostrations, offer praise. For things like flower robes and other offerings, we must always burn incense. Flowers have many symbolic meanings, as mentioned earlier. They represent discipline, concentration, the 5 aspects of the Dharma body. That's what I mean. Flowers represent the cause in practice, so it's essential to offer flowers. What does offering flowers mean? It reminds everyone at the Dharma Center to cultivate good causes. If the cause is excellent, the resulting reward will definitely be excellent too. We give good flowers. In ancient times, there were no artificial flowers. Only fresh flowers were offered, and they had to be changed every day. The flowers placed beneath the seat symbolize aspiration. So in the past, if there were no fresh flowers, what did they do? People in ancient times also had ways to make artificial flowers, using gold, silver, or colored glass to craft flowers, which didn't need to be replaced. So, in the old days, these kinds of offering items were used. They would make flowers, or even animal figures, out of gold, silver, and precious materials, and offer these to the Buddha as a sign of respect and devotion. If we don't have the means, and with work being so busy these days, having to buy fresh flowers every day is actually quite a hassle. The Buddha is very understanding and wouldn't want to make things difficult for you. If you have good quality artificial flowers, you can use those as offerings too. It's definitely not disrespectful to the Buddha. Whether it's respectful or not comes from your heart. If your heart is sincere and upright, whatever you offer is an expression of your respect. If your heart isn't pure, even if you offer 1,000 treasures or precious flowers, it still won't do. It's still impure. So this is an image. Express your thoughts. And they also carry the meaning of transforming yourself and helping others. That's why we offer incense and flowers. Now, what about clothing? Offering robes, what does that mean? It's not the kind of clothes made by modern tailors. It's not these kinds of clothes. You have to remember, Buddhism was brought over from ancient India 3,000 years ago. What kind of clothes did they wear back then? What do we mean by robes? Robes were just whole pieces of cloth. In Singapore, it's convenient. We see Indian people wearing a large cloth wrapped around them. This is called yi, unlike our collared, sleeved clothes, just cloth. It looks nice, just one piece of fabric. Now, the kasaya we are wearing today, this is also called yi. People with good fortune have yi made from whole uncut cloth. In the past, the Buddhist and Lamoang community had a system of begging for food. They would have one meal at midday, going out to collect alms with their bowls. Getting a meal was relatively easy, but getting a piece of clothing was very difficult, not easy at all. In the past, everything was hand-woven, and making a piece of clothing was a real hassle. Even getting a bowl of rice wasn't easy. Sometimes you had to please several families for a bowl of clothes. You'd get a bit from here, a strip from there, and it could take 6 or 7 households to fill one alms bowl. Back then, resources and supplies weren't nearly as plentiful or abundant as they are now. Life was really, truly tough and challenging, so where could monks even find clothes to wear? When people wore out their clothes and threw them away, what we call rag robes, the ones that were discarded and no longer wanted, monks would pick them up, back then. They'd look for any parts of the fabric that were still intact and cut out those usable pieces. Then, they'd stitch those pieces together to make a robe. So, since the materials picked up like this are all different, and the colors don't match, wouldn't it look a bit shabby when worn? That's why, after sewing them together, they dye the robe, hence the dyed robe. That's the meaning behind it. So today, when we offer robes, when we offer the kasaya, robe means patience and forbearance. A robe covers the body, covers our shame. It symbolizes forbearance. This is clothes. All sorts of precious treasures. These are offered to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas as offerings of jewels. There are many different shapes and types of precious treasures. And they all represent the purity of our own intentions. And precious treasures also symbolize the Dharma. These are things that people all around the world deeply love, cherish, and hold dear, and truly value. With precious treasures, one's life is protected and secure. So, precious treasures represent the treasure of the Dharma. The Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha are 3 jewels with treasures.